Welcome back to Knockhill here in Scotland as the Caterham Road Sport Class A Championship Brigade line up on the grid for their second 30-minute race of the weekend. Yesterday's race won by Chris Nicholas. That was because, in part, the man that won on the road, James Bromley, was given a time penalty for contact with Graham Fenimore.
It is a very challenging circuit. It's one of those circuits where every lap you realise you're making a mistake at one point in the circuit. It also changes very quickly because of the atmospherics. So at one lap you might be able to place your car very accurately on the circuit. The next lap you're over the grass.
So we're ready for business then. 30 minutes ahead of us. That's going to be about 31 laps around the Knockhill circuit. Pole position, Chris Nicholas. Away they go. Now let's see who makes the best start on the run down towards us. On the inside, Chris Nicholas. On the outside was Nathan Bell. But it's Graham Fenimore, vastly experienced ex-single-seater racer who leads. Gator on the inside. Graham Fenimore takes over the lead. Now he led for a fair chunk of yesterday's race. It was at this corner that James Bromley dived up the inside. Contact was made. Off went Fenimore. Bromley won on the road. And then the clerk of the course gave him this time penalty for the contact. And so Bromley was fourth yesterday. And a very irate Fenimore aims to try and have a win today. Coming through the chicane for the first time then. Graham Fenimore up front at the moment. Chris Nicholas second. James Bromley it is in third. Now it's hard work around Knockhill. It's work, work, work all the time. And 30 minutes means that it's all action for the drivers. And what do they do in a race like this? Are they going to sit there and bide their time? Or are they going to try and make their move early? Well, we know in the R400 Championship, for example, how you can just run with the leading pack for the first 20 minutes or so of the half-hour race and then start to make your move later on. Do you have that luxury around the Knockhill circuits in these less powerful cars? 133 brake horsepower, 6-speed gearbox in the Class A cars. There is also in this the Inters class, which is for the midway between Class A and Class B brigade. Race leader Graham Fenimore then, ex-Formula Ford racer in the days of David Coulthard. Came from Formula Ford into Formula 2000, then came back into racing and won the pre-90 Formula Ford Championship a few years ago. Racing Formula Vauxhall, again, has had a few years away as the money ran out, but he's back this year. His win in the opening round at Donington came from last on the grid, and Graham Fenimore very much the benchmark driver here, much more experienced than anybody else in the order. Number 11 there, Nathan Bell going through. He's dropped down to fifth. He was second on the grid, but he's not had a great first few corners. So Fenimore leading, Chris Nicholas second, James Bromley third. And these are the three drivers that have done the winning so far this year. There you can see in fifth place, Nathan Bell having a go to try and get past Lawrence Wiltshire as they come now out of the hairpin and up over the start and finish line. The Class A field has lost one race at Brands Hatch. That was abandoned due to appalling weather. But Nathan Bell here on board with him, having a look to try and get back onto terms with Wiltshire. Down to Duffer's Dip, hard on the brakes. Fling your car into the right-hander, the road drops away. Turn left through the second part of Duffer's Dip, then right into McIntyre's. The road drops away again, but you climb through Butcher's up towards the narrow but daunting but very fast chicane. You've got to use all of the curb there to try and straight line that to good effect. This is Nathan Bell's start. Blasts away from the line, but it wasn't the best of starts. There's Chris Nicholas going past, and look right, you'll see Graham Fenimore in a moment. There is Fenimore blasting through. He's got the better line for the first corner. He's got the lead as well, and Nathan Bell ran out of road very nearly, went very wide all over the curb. That gave James Bromley a place as well, and Lawrence Wiltshire through as Nathan Bell sorts himself out, and he drops to fifth place. Attacking here, though, coming up towards the hairpin. Is he going to be able to dive through on the inside? Yes, he is, side by side into the braking area. And now Nathan Bell goes through, up into fourth position. The pair of them coming under a bit of pressure now as well as they accelerate up over the line. It's Bell just ahead of Wiltshire, and then Mike Richards next in the queue. If anything, they're going to try to be three abreast, are they, as they come over the start and finish line. That's brave. Nathan Bell here pretty much in the middle, round the outside of both of them, though. Goes Mike Richards. What a move. Fantastic bit of driving. Benefited from the slipstream of two cars there. Came round the outside. He got past Bell. He got past Wiltshire. And so now Mike Richards in fourth place. That was an excellent bit of driving. Wiltshire and Bell still carrying on their battle as if nothing had happened. But Mike Richards, there he is, up now into fourth place. The man from Rayleigh starting to pull away. Nathan Bell getting up onto the dirt there. More people race a Caterham across the world than any other sort of race car. It's very, very popular in Britain. There is the Caterham Academy. Then there are the graduate and super graduate championships. There is the mega graduate championship that's been introduced this year. You've got the two road sports, you've got the R400s, you've got Nathan Bell here gaining a place on the inside past Lawrence Wiltshire. Nathan Bell that's come from the Caterham Academy, sponsored by Evo. But the popularity of Caterham racing is absolutely astonishing. not just, as I say, in Britain, but across the world. Very successful European championships as well. And as they come in this little fight for 4th, 5th and 6th places down towards Duffers Dip, Scottish fans being treated to some great racing as well. There is a Scottish Caterham Road Sport Championship, and that, I'm afraid, is a spin for number 15 out of the Happin. Stephen Schmigelski spins it around. Should be able to sort himself out and rejoin. He's taking this rather novel approach to the Happin. If the car won't go up the hill, you go down the hill. It is novel, this. So he's back on the circuit. He's lost a fair few places in all of that, but Schmigelski now rejoins. Now this is the fight for the lead. We're approaching the half-distance mark. You can see debris there on the side of the road, and James Bromley launching himself up over the curb. Up front, though, it's Graham Fenimore ahead of Chris Nicholas. Nicholas having won yesterday's race by default, in effect. He'd like to win this one by taking the checkered flag first. He knows he's still got a lot of work to do, though, and Graham Fenimore knows how to defend. Very experienced, very capable driver, Graham Fenimore. James Bromley, winner of Class B last year in the Road Sport Championship. Certainly made a big impression in Class A this year. He's third, but ahead of him now, Chris Nicholas tries to go around the outside of Fenimore. Down towards Duffers Dip, they're side by side, and Nicholas goes through, round on the outside there. Another brave bit of driving into Duffers Dip. It gives him the place. Nose to tail, the two of them then, bounce over the curve. They're about to turn through McIntyre's and climb now up towards the Glenbarrigle chicane. Bit of a moment from Chris Nicholas, uses lots of the curve there. A sideways Fenimore has now been caught by James Bromley. A lap ago, it looked as though Bromley might just have been lagging back and seeing what developed ahead. Well, if that was the case, he's now seen what's developed, and now he wants to make a move. Up they come towards the Happin. Here's 4th, 5th and 6th. Richards, Bell and Wiltshire. That's the order at the moment. It'll all change, no doubt, before the end. But Nathan Bell, 5th, and under real pressure from Lawrence Wiltshire. Very wide over the curb, over that bit of gauzy goes Bell, and for 2nd place, Bromley benefiting from a slower back marker there. Up on the inside, he takes 2nd place away from Graham Fenimore. They were lapping Stephen Roden with his Inters class car, and Bromley through up into 2nd place. Now, what can the Auto Trader man do about the race leader? Because Chris Nicholas leads at the moment, but James Bromley tucked up behind him in 2nd place. Bromley's next problem, I suppose, in a way, is not just working out where to attack, it's also where to defend, because Graham Fenimore has not given up yet, and as Bromley goes wide, Fenimore back through up into 2nd place. James Bromley a bit too quick into McIntyre's that time, ran wide over the curb onto the grass, and Graham Fenimore, with his single-seater experience, teaching you about precision, dives through on the inside as there into the pit lane comes number 34. That's Stephen Rogers, who's had a fairly miserable weekend with all sorts of mechanical problems. Fenimore, though, there, up on the inside of Bromley still. This is the fight for 2nd place, and you can see ahead of them is Chris Nicholas. Now, what Nicholas needs to try to do now is to pull away whilst these two are battling behind him. 2 wins to Fenimore, 2 wins to Bromley, 1 win to Chris Nicholas. Side by side for 2nd, down towards Duffers Dip. Can Bromley go right round the outside of Fenimore? No, he can't, not there. Graham Fenimore hangs onto the place then as they turn their way once more down through Duffers Dip. Flinging the cars through the right-hander. Chris Nicholas still trying to break away, but he's not really being able to do so as yet. There's a great battle going on behind him in 2nd place, and that should, in theory, enable Nicholas to pull away. Far from it, though. Fenimore much quicker through the chicane, used a bit more curve, and now he's got the lead as well. He was about 2 lengths back going out of McIntyre's, and now, as they come out of Clark's, he's the race leader once again. Graham Fenimore is back ahead of Chris Nicholas, and James Bromley 3rd, looking to try and make a bid once again. This is the beauty of Caterham racing, the result always in doubt. The top 2 then, Fenimore sideways at the hairpin, then Chris Nicholas, and in 3rd place, James Bromley. Chris Nicholas right up behind Fenimore. Far less experienced than the race leader, but Chris Nicholas now goes to the outside line. He's been very impressive this season. Is he going to get the lead here? Tried to stand his ground on the outside, couldn't quite do it, and so Fenimore, they're absolutely on the limit. You can see the car getting sideways, and Fenimore working away behind the wheel, twitching on and off the lock. Now he runs wide, kicks up the dirt, coming out of McIntyre's. Through Butchers, up towards the Glenbarrigle chicane. Over the curves again, they all go, and if anything, Nicholas perhaps using less curve than the other 2. Maybe that's why he loses a little bit of time at that part of the circuit. Fenimore into Clark, Chris Nicholas going after him, up on the curb, and Fenimore spins! Round he goes! Graham Fenimore has chucked it away, I'm afraid. Just a little bit too fast into Clark's, round came the back. Oh dear. Graham Fenimore sorts himself out, carries on, but he is going to be absolutely seething with himself after that. He had the lead, spun it away, and now then the lead battle is between Chris Nicholas and James Bromley. Bromley through, powering his way past as they drop down towards Duffers Dip. Now, is that the moment that decides the race? Another spin. That's Steven Schmigelski losing it coming out of the chicane. He's already had one moment, remember, at the hairpin. He likes going backwards, doesn't he? He's now got the car across the road. Carries on, loses a couple of places there at the chicane. Meantime, for the lead, Chris Nicholas dives back up on the inside. He's going to go through, is he? Yes, he is. Back up on the inside and back into the lead goes Chris Nicholas. Now, does he run wide? Can James Bromley get the run on him as they come up over the start and finish line? Absolutely tied together, these two. Past the pits now, down towards Duffer's Den, and James Bromley in the lead briefly, losing out a little bit there. The car suddenly slows, looking a straight line. Bromley has a problem. James Bromley not able to respond, and Chris Nicholas's lead doubles on the run from the start and finish line to Duffer's Den. And maybe now Chris Nicholas, for the first time, can breathe a sigh of relief. Well, poor old Graham Fenimore can't. This is what he did wrong. Round comes the back as he powers his way through Clark's, and Graham Fenimore spins the car onto the grass. He's quick to rejoin, quick to recover, but that has cost Fenimore now any chance of a win. Chris Nicholas is only a corner away from a second win of the weekend, and you could argue his first proper win, because today, unlike yesterday, he will take the checkered flag first, and he will be able to punch the air with delight as he comes now out of the hairpin. Chris Nicholas wins here at Knockhill. There's the checkered flag. Chris Nicholas victorious then. James Bromley second, and another good scrap still raging on here down towards the hairpin. Up on the inside there is Nathan Bell just scrabbling past Ewan McIntyre, but Bell runs wide, and McIntyre coming back at him as they head across the line. McIntyre started 16th. Where's he going to finish? Side by side, passing the pits absolutely together. Ewan McIntyre just ahead as they came across the line to gain 5th place, just 100th clear of Nathan Bell. But the race winner, Chris Nicholas, with Bromley second and Fenimore third.
It was quite an eventful race. I mean, I started from pole. I thought if I get in front, just try and stay there and see what the boys would do at the back, but the car was going off too quick, so I had to sort of slow the pace down, let them catch up, and just let them overtake and just fit in behind them and let the car have a bit of a rest. Because when you're out there pushing all the time at the front, the car just goes off too quick. It's just all over the place. So when I just settled back, I wasn't worried when they overtook me, because I knew Graham and James are very quick drivers anyway. They're going to be there or thereabouts. I just sat patiently and saw the race through.
I felt very much like I was in the chair to see what was going on ahead of me, actually, with Graham and Chris. So I tried the technique of leaving them to tinker and hoping they'd slow each other down enough for me just to go whipping past the both of them. And then towards the end, Graham fell off around the back as he went over some curbs. I thought I had the best of Chris, but I missed a gear, complete schoolboy error coming out of the hairpin, and the rest is history. But it's a very hard race for Chris, and I think he did very well.
So, happy drivers on the podium here. Next week, we're off to Donington for the John Cooper Challenge on Sky Sports.